Hey guys, my name is Maria Park, and this is Approach the Nerd, and welcome to our Loki episode 1 review. So I just got done watching Loki episode 1, so it's very fresh in my head right now. So I'm very excited to talk about it. We get to see the TVA, or the Time Variance Authority, which reminds me a lot, just because of their quirkiness, of the Time Bureau and Legends of Tomorrow. It's just a thing. I know they were established way before we had a Legends, which technically isn't canon in the DC universe, but it just, some of the things reminded me a lot of that. And Agent Mobius specifically reminds me of Rip Hunter, but it's just a thing. Yeah, so this episode basically takes up or starts in the scene in Endgame where they're trying to do the whole Tesseract kind of heist. They go back in time basically to collect all the stones, blah, blah, blah. And Loki was supposed to be transported to Asgard, but he ends up grabbing the Tesseract and then like phasing away. And he ends up in like this desert. And like he gets picked up by the TVA. And I really enjoyed like his narcissism, because he's always the character who's like, do you know who I am? I am the god of mischief. I am awesome. How dare you approach me? How dare you? I will use my powers, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, zap. Like, it's absolutely hysterical. So yeah, I do like the entire scene of him being kind of like put through the processing, form or format of the TVA, where he has to like, sign documents for everything he's ever said, which luckily he only had to sign the top one, but every time he would talk, it would print out another one. I thought he initially had to sign the entire stack of everything he's ever said, which would have taken forever, but time moves differently in the TVA, so it is what it is. But that whole processing thing reminds me of a cross between Men in Black and the Jetsons. Like when it goes in the elevator and the robot like literally zaps off his clothes and he falls into a jumper. That's a really funny scene to me. I love how even when you're going before a judge to be reset, which literally means to be killed, because you are a variant, which is somebody who the timekeepers are introduced in this, and they are the ones that keep this like sacred timeline. And anything you do that, kind of rears off of that timeline is considered a variance. And you are a variant, which means you have committed a crime. And Loki is a variant. So, and, him going through that whole process and having like the little mascot, which was absolutely crazy. And the little sweet country voice saying, a judge will be with you. And the next available judge will be here to hear your case in the next available minute. I thought that was hilarious. It's like every DMV, appointment you've ever had where you had to get like your license changed or whatever. Very, very annoying. We got to see what happens when you don't take a ticket to be seen by the judge. You instantly die. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought the whole process of the TVA was funny. I also love the fact that the TVA has established now that the Infinity Stones and pretty much everything that we've known about MCU that is powerful and all encompassing is just basically a paperweight, because the Infinity Stones are used by the TVA agents as a paperweight. That was effing hilarious. So that makes you think, well, if Thanos and the Infinity Stones were not the big baddies, then what's worse? And we know in Endgame there was a lot of damage done. So I do like that they've kind of like retconned that whole thing. It's like, okay, that was that. We're in this time. I love that we're talking about the Nexus, because of course we're talking about the Nexus in WandaVision. Wanda's a Nexus being. It makes effing sense that we're moving towards the multiverse, but it seems like they don't want to move towards the multiverse. And the time variance in the comics has always been the ones that kept this timeline going, at Behold of the Timekeepers. Now, when I was watching this, though, I did have a question, because I get a lot of Legends of Tomorrow feels from this, only because if you remember what happened, with Charlie and her sisters and everyone just following them blindly in the series, because, they were all, powerful and they were telling people how to live their lives and la, la, la. Well, the timekeepers essentially are telling these time agents that they've created to run the TVA to go and do this, go stop this, go fix time. And they're doing it on blind faith, which is fine. But if you remember in the comics, there was a time when they kind of broke down the history of the timekeepers. And before there were timekeepers, there were time twisters. And they did so much damage to the timeline. As a matter of fact, there were times when people could not tell the difference between the time twisters and the timekeepers. And I wonder if we're going to see that in this series, if the time twisters are actually the ones that are in charge and it's not the timekeepers. There's a lot of questions just from this one episode, which was good. It showed a lot of range with Owen Wilson and and Tom Hiddleston. Like I think their chemistry comedically is brilliant. I also think, and this only because when you're looking at Loki's paperwork, he's putting his name and all that, and I've already known this because I read I read basically articles about this before the show ever premiered, that he was going to be gender fluid. But apparently Agent Mobius is also gender fluid and Loki is bisexual. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something with that as well between these two, because they have really good chemistry in this show. So I would not be opposed to it. And I mean, but of course you're on a queer girls channel. So what am I going to say? But I just thought that they were very cool. I love how they talk. I love how Owen Wilson was talking to Loki. Like he was pacifying him, then he was demeaning him, then he was literally like associating himself to the situation where he was like, oh, well, I get why you would do this. And, in some way I agree with what you're doing. And my heart kind of goes out to your struggle, even though you suck. And then all of this stuff in this episode, all the things that Loki's shown with and I'm going to say it, the half Pokemon projector, the damn thing looked like a half Pokemon ball, projecting all of Loki's latest and greatest hits of him screwing up and things, and him getting captured and failing to escape and all of this stuff, has all led him to have a moment of self-reflection where he realizes that he does all of these things and that he doesn't enjoy hurting people. He does it because he's weak. And how to show dominance when you're a villain, when you're weak, is by being the baddie and doing the bad things. And I'm like, okay, I feel like we just had a therapy session. I mean, I'm telling you, the MCU is all about therapy. Look at Falcon and Winter Soldier, all about therapy. But yeah, so we got to see all of these different things, and I love that Loki sees in the future his death. He sees how he inadvertently led people to kill his mother, which you could see it on his face. Now, Tom is a very good actor. That scene where he saw his mother's body, you could see him tearing up. I'm like, yeah, that Loki loved his mama. So I did love that. And he realized that he cannot go back to his timeline because he's destined to die, and everything he would do would be a variant at this point, which again opens up more Lokis in the multiverse, because we're gonna get a multiverse. We're getting Spider-Verse. I mean, it makes no sense. So, okay. So some things that I also wanted to ask, because I've already talked about the time twisters. The time twisters could be a thing. Are we getting, I don't know, we're getting Mephisto. I don't want to say that because I felt like I was one of those fans that was why can't this be Mephisto in WandaVision? Not to an obsession, a degree, but in theory. And they keep pointing towards Mephisto, and it's irritating me. Like the scene where they're investigating the agents that were killed, and you have they find this little girl, and she has this blue candy, and Agent Mobius is like, "Hey, where'd you get the candy from?" And she points to the church window, and there, of course, is an image of a red devil, which, of course, is what Mephisto looks like in the comics. And I'm like, why do you keep doing this? I'm like, are you doing it to throw us off? I mean, what? I don't understand. I would not be opposed to the big baddie being Mephisto and not him, especially with the use of fire in the last scene when he burnt the agents up. But they're making it seem like there is another version of Loki, which is possible because the multiverse could have multiple versions of everybody that is out there. A darker, more evil version of Loki that's just killing all these agents and stealing their devices to reset. And I mean, I'm not opposed to that either. It's just stop throwing these Easter eggs of Mephisto at us if you have no intention of bringing Mephisto into the fold. I'm just saying, it's a little, As somebody who likes the comic books, it's a little off-putting because I knew we couldn't have the traditional House of M with WandaVision because we didn't have mutants yet. They could have morphed it into saying no more magic, which is what I initially thought they were going to do, and then it would have affected Doctor Strange and every other magic wielding character currently in the MCU. But that didn't happen. So because that didn't happen, now we're at the mercy of the MCU verse, which is not always a bad thing. But as I said in my WandaVision review, I was not unhappy with the series. I just was underwhelmed by it just being Agatha and not any other motivation. Like not even Franklin, Reed and Sue's son being the reason that all this was going on, because Agatha was his nanny. And of course, in the comics, Franklin split Mephisto's, soul into the shards that Wanda later used to make her children. So like, there's so many things that could have tied in with Mephisto, but every time I see an image or a reference or a helmet that looks like his horn, anytime I see any reference of Mephisto in any of these MCU shows, I get annoyed now. So I'm like, unless Mephisto is a whole ass in this episode, just stop. That's how I feel. And they keep making references. Even Agatha and WandaVision said, you don't know what you've unleashed. And that makes me think, oh, it's Satan. I mean, it's literally Mephisto. But I digress. Whatever. That's just my little harping moment for a minute. I had to get on my soapbox because why not? But yeah, like I do love the fact that Agent Mobius, like I like how Agent Mobius is just completely anti-bureaucratic. He's like, you guys do this, but I'm going to go do this. Like, even he was talking to the judge, he's like, I really like looking up to you. I'm like, you're such a smart ass. Like, I think it's cool. I think it's a very cool setup. I think him and Loki are going to be absolutely hilarious in this show, because by episode 1 standard, normally the first episode or pilot episode has some funny moments, but relatively it's boring. I was entertained the entire time. Just looking at Loki's reactions to everything in the time and the TVA, and he's just walking around. He's like, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "What are you?" He's like, "You guys are nuts. Like, you guys are completely insane." Like, I mean, his reaction to seeing something higher than what he's used to, and he's considered a god, is hilarious to me. It's just absolutely hilarious to me. And then there's the agent, and I'm trying to remember her name because I think she had a sequel. I think it's was it B-15? I want to say her name was B-15 is the one that he initially comes across. And I think she hits him, and then, he like moves his face, but he's going in slow-mo, and she's like, yeah, time, the time is actually, slowed down for you, but you're feeling the full effects regularly of the pain. And I'm like, oh, that must be excruciating. And that whole fight with them and him using their device to make her shift back and forth through time was absolutely hilarious, because Loki's crazy. But I will say Mobius did point something out. He's like, where's the mischievous in your name? He's like, everything you do is like either bad or stupid. Like, and I love that Loki immediately blamed the Avengers at his trial. He's like, I didn't mess up the timeline. That was the Avengers. They're the ones that went back in time. If you give me a team, I'll go take them out. I'm like, even now. But again, this is the Loki that we haven't seen be killed by Thanos, and the Loki that has not bonded back with Thor and became loyal and all that stuff. So he's not the future Loki that we've already seen in Thor Ragnarok. He's the Loki right after the first Avengers movie, where he's being detained for all the crap he did. So he's in the middle, but he has the luxury of seeing all the stuff that's going to lead him up to his redemption, and then eventually being killed by Thanos. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But yeah, I'm really curious. Like I said, I want to know if the timekeepers are going to be a thing, or are we going to see them? Are they going to be revealed to actually be the time twisters, which would mess everything up? That would mess absolutely everything up. Are we going to get Richard Jones? Because Richard Jones, who I effing love because he's like Deadpool, like he literally talks about himself all the time in the comics. Like he knows he's in a comic. I love Richard Jones. But Richard Jones could be a part of the series, especially that would introduce us to stuff like the Destiny Force. I don't know. I don't know where the MCU is going with it, but it would be something that would be cool. I would really like to see Richard Jones introduced in this series. I don't know if he's going to be. Like I haven't been following all of the news from the MCU. And that's the thing. I always put in my head, they should have this, they should have that. And it never really comes to pass, like Blue Marble, but we're going to leave that alone. All right. So let's see here. Ryan, is Wanda possibly a variant then? She should be. She's a Nexus being. And like, if you think about it, technically, now in the comics, she worked with TVA a lot. And she also worked with a few other reality bending oversight groups. But in retrospect, right now, Wanda should be a threat. But again, the problem with the TVA is they don't stop bad things from happening or good things from happening. They stop what's not supposed to happen. So everything that Wanda's going through was meant to happen. Everything that Loki did that they never picked him up for was meant to happen, even though they were not good and, you know, they were bad things. Him killing Agent Coulson was meant to happen. You know, him leading people to go kill his mother was meant to happen. Wanda basically forming a bubble around a town and keeping innocent people hostage all that time, basically, it wasn't meant to happen. So, but if you really think about it, the idea that she has the power to disrupt reality and a timeline itself is a variance. And I don't know what they're going to do with that. So maybe we'll see that more in Doctor Strange. It was so good seeing the old Avengers in that video, and Owen Wilson is in here. Oh, hell no. It's interesting, too, because I was like, at first when he started talking, I was like, Luke? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's Luke's on Stargirl. I'm like, that's Owen. I'm like, what? So I thought that was actually really cool. Coming off topic for a second, but did you get my comment about your L word video? I don't think I've seen it. Did you make it today? Because I haven't had a chance to check it. So I will have to look at that. Or you can just post a comment in here. I heard the Loki series was connected to Doctor Strange too. Yes, they're all connected. Like all of the MCU stories are interconnected with each other. So starting with WandaVision, even Falcon and Winter Soldier, all of this stuff is connected. If we get nothing else out of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's that we get the new Captain America and that we know who Power Broker is. So, and she has reestablished herself in this universe as a good guy, even though she's a double agent. Good job, Sharon. Oh, snap. Is it really connected? It is connected. Isn't Doctor Strange 2 a timekeeper? Maybe instead of TVA dealing with Wanda, Doctor Strange could deal with her. Well, Wanda's going to be in the movie, but I think they're going to be fighting someone else. I'm not keeping up with who they're fighting. I'll have to look it up. I do know that America Chavez, or at least a younger version of Chavez, is going to be introduced in that movie. I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of things that are tying in, because no matter what happens, we're getting the multiverse. It doesn't matter, how we get there. It's happening. So multiverse is on its way, as well it should be, because if it was not, there'd be no reason to have Spider-Verse. Hi, Chasten. How are you? Is Mobius a TV show or a movie coming out in the MCU? Morbius is coming out. The vampire-like anti-hero, sometimes villain, is coming out. I think Jared Leto is playing him. Mobius is Agent Mobius, and he is a TVA very highly respected agent. So yeah, Morbius, two different people. Like I said, I'm really excited to see who else that they bring in. And back to Mobius though. I love the fact that Mobius's name is Mobius M. Mobius. I mean, very creative. Like my name is Maria M. Maria. Like, that's funny. But I like that Mobius also specializes in capturing particularly dangerous time criminals. And when Loki's like me, he's like, nah, you're a pussycat. Like, just shoot him while he's down. It was hilarious. It really was. It's not unappreciative that we got to see all these flashbacks of Loki, because we also got to see one we've never saw that took place in maybe the 60s or 70s, where he's on an airplane and he's literally pretending to have a bomb, or he might have a bomb, to get this money and the suitcase, and he gets it. And then right as he jumps off the plane, he gets that right back up. Even when he was trying to be a criminal, and he's like, I had a bet with Thor, he still lost. Like he loses all the time. Like Loki is very good at losing, and I thought that was interesting. My comment was like, they are ever going to bring up the whole Jenny Poole accident. My favorite all time is Dana Fairbanks. I think in the first season of the L Word Generation Q, they do say something about Jenny. I don't think she's dead. I think they retcon that. I'm upset that they can't bring Carmen back. I understand because the writers don't want to, because she's actually Persian in real life, the actress Sarah Shahi, and she's not really Hispanic, but that means all of us L Word original fans will never get Carmen and Shane closure because they won't bring her back because of that. So the director wanted to, and the writer's room had a lot of Latina and they say Latinx, not my words, writers in there, and that they immediately vetoed bringing Carmen back because of cultural appropriation. So we will never have Carmen unless they recast her, and then it's not the same chemistry, so it sucks. Chris Hemsworth in Loki series. We saw flashbacks of Thor Ragnarok, and we saw him in the first Avengers movie. I don't know if they're going to have him make a cameo in this, because they're very hush-hush on who gets in these. Like sometimes they'll have him, sometimes they're not. Like with Julia Dreyfus coming in, as Madam Hydra. We had no idea she was going to be in it. She was supposed to be in Black Widow. We had no idea she was going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So who knows who they have in line for this? This is just episode 1. So it's going to be crazier from this point. This was the establishing, episode. So everybody knows who the initial players are. So when everything goes insane, we have this to fall back on. This is where we started, and this is where we ended up. And I think where we end up is going to be effing insane in this series. I'm excited though. Like I said, there's a lot to really contemplate in terms of this show, because I like the fact that the TVA is doing its job. It again reminds me a lot of the Time Bureau from Legends of Tomorrow. Like you literally have all of these agents going throughout time. Like we know they traveled to 1549 because somebody must have pretended to do something that's outside of the time variance, and they were supposed to go and stop it. In 1858, I believe, is when they went to Oklahoma at the end. And they thought maybe somebody was like, striking oil or whatever to make themselves rich. And there was actually a time traveler. So I like that they're responding to those. What's sad is that they're all traps. And so they have to respond because it's their job, but that may be the last job that they go on. And yeah, even when the bad Loki was sitting there and the fire was coming towards them, I'm like, are you sure that's not Mephisto? Because it's fire, brimstone, and hell. I'm like, I don't know, guys. It's just it's very confusing for me because they keep dropping Mephisto hints, and it really bothers me. And it's definitely, I feel like if in terms of Mobius and Loki, they're definitely going to have this weird bromance, that the same one we kind of saw between Bucky and Sam in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think is going to be repeated in this show, this weird bromance situation. But in this regard, we know that Loki is capable of being in a relationship with a man because he's bisexual. And he also considers himself to be gender fluid. When I researched MCU Mobius to see if he was gender fluid, it also said he was revealed to be gender fluid too. So I don't know if he's bisexual, but they both don't really identify with a certain gender. So that's a thing, I guess. I'm really curious to see how they play that out. I'm wondering though, like, I feel like the Fantastic Four are going to be involved in this in some way. I don't know why, but I do. But then honestly, they should have been involved in WandaVision. So they might be saving this whole Fantastic Four reveal prior to their movie being made, or introduction, should I say, until their movies respectively come out. Just like with the X-Men, because I'm still convinced by the time we get to Nick Fury's series, we are going to see the Illuminati. But who knows? Like I said, I'm just speculating here because I don't know. Secret Invasion had a lot of characters in it. There are a lot of potential characters, and they keep dropping Easter eggs on characters that we haven't been introduced to, like Sentry. And Sentry was an Illuminati. And I will keep saying this until I'm blue in the face in every MCU review I do. There's no reason to show Sentry's belt if Sentry's not going to be involved, and then no reason to have Sentry if he's not going to be in the Illuminati. So I'm very curious how they're going to pull that off when they don't have Beast or Xavier, and they haven't introduced, Reed Richards yet. So I don't know. Yes, Monica is going to be in Secret Invasion. Monica Rambeau will absolutely. Every character in the MCU so far to date should be in Secret Invasion or be affected by Secret Invasion in some way. So I just want to see who else we get, because I feel like we're going to get introduced to a lot more characters before we get to Secret Invasion. And I'm wondering, I have to look at the timeline to see when Nick Fury / Secret Invasion actually comes out. Because if it comes out, if it's the last series to premiere before all of the others, then that means that we probably already have a lot of characters or new characters that had introductions. So again, we have Monica Rambeau already. Jimmy Woo should be, I don't know if we're going to see the Atlas Foundation. I really need to see the Atlas Foundation. I also say this a lot because, everybody played a part in Secret Invasion in the comics. So I don't know. It's actually in the Illuminati comics. I'd have to find it. I will have to find it for you because I read that a long time ago. But there are a lot of characters that were in the Illuminati. It wasn't just a core Doctor Strange group. It actually expanded to a lot. At one point, Hulk was in the Illuminati. And I don't remember if She-Hulk was, which would be kind of cool because She-Hulk her show is coming out soon too, which I'm very excited about. But I remember the original founding members are the original ones: Iron Man, Tony Stark, which obviously can't happen because he's dead. I know that the Submariner was in it. Reed Richards, Charles Xavier. What was his name? I know Doctor Strange was in it. Namor was in it. Sentry was in and out. Hulk was in and out. They also recruited Beast, Xavier, Elektra. There are a bunch of different people that either were in the Illuminati or worked for or did missions for the Illuminati. So when I say Sentry was more of a help us do this kind of Illuminati member, I guess, or I don't know, agent. I'm going to call it that. Because when the Skrulls were posing as different people, they didn't know who to trust. So this was like the second last defense towards, who was actually who. I did like Black Widow's way of determining who people was. She's like, I'm just going to come and shoot everybody in the head, and if you don't turn, then you were real. I'm like, okay, that's completely effing insane, but we won't get that either because Black Widow is dead in the MCU. They may retcon what the Illuminati is altogether. It may be made up of members that are just currently in the MCU. So I don't know. Like I say, MCU does its own universe. She-Hulk is definitely going to be extremely cool. Now, I don't know a lot about Tatiana Maslany, did I say that right? Maslany. She seems very cool for the role, so I'm here for it, but I am super excited for She-Hulk. I'm also excited for Hawkeye, though I have been hearing across the grapevine that Haley Steinfeld was not getting along, with, I don't know if it's just Hawkeye's actor or if it was his actor and the crew. I don't know. Now, these are all rumors. This could be completely, full of crap. But that's one of the stories that's going along, is that they had a lot of problems on the set of Hawkeye. I don't know. She-Hulk does have, it has 10 episodes. Yep, Eternals are in November. I actually can break down some of the dates on some of the MCU stuff that's coming out because my spouse, we don't go out to theaters anymore because we just don't think it's safe, but we go to the drive-in, and that's where we'll see all the movies that don't come on Disney Plus or whatever. Same with HBO Max movies. If it's something comes out on HBO Max, if they don't play it on HBO Max and it's only in the theaters, then we'll go see it at the drive-in. But I know that on my calendar, there are a lot of dates for different MCU movies that are coming out. And like there are a lot of movies coming out, which I was pretty impressed with. Just timeline wise, like I know that Spider-Man comes out in December. I want to say it's December 17th is when that's supposed to come out of this year. So let's see. And I've got DCEU movies coming out too, but let's see. I know Guardian of the Galaxy comes out on May 5th of 2023. Let's see. Make sure I got all of it. Thor, Love and Thunder is May 6th of 2022. Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, that comes out September 3rd of this year. Black Widow is coming out July 9th of this year, which it keeps, they moved it so much. I don't know if that's actually going to stay true, but we'll see. The Eternals is November 5th, my brother's birthday of this year. Spider-Man No Way Home should be December 17th, my birth month. And that's this year. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is March 25th of 2022. So like they're spacing it out. So at least we get 2 or 3 movies like, every year. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, it should be July 8th, 2022. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania is February 17th, 2023. So that should be, those are the ones that I know about. Now I know that we're going to get like 2 to 4. Yeah, Ryan, 2 to 4 movies a year. I know that DCU is planning to do something similar. I don't know if they're copying the MCU or not, but their release dates are interesting for their movies coming out too. But it's a thing. Y'all still have drive-ins. You're so lucky. We have one drive-in, just one. And yeah, I'm very lucky. I went and saw I think I saw New Mutants. And yeah, we did in the theater. And when we went, there were literally 5 cars. Like just 5 cars. And when you go to the drive-in, you get to see more than one movie. So we saw Peninsula, which is a sequel to one of my favorite zombie movies of all time, Train to Busan. And then we saw New Mutants movie back to back. And I think for an entire carload of people, it was like $18. So not bad considering what you spend in the movies. Plus you can bring all your own food and stuff from home and not have to worry about concession stands. So yeah, I do love drive-ins and watching movies at drive-ins. So everything I can't see streaming wise, like at HBO Max or Disney Plus, I will absolutely go see at the drive-in. Is Riverdale over because I don't see it on nowadays? I think all these shows are on hiatus. And because of COVID, a lot of shooting schedules got messed up last year. So more than likely they're filming. They don't have any episodes to show yet, or they're almost to the point where they're done filming and they're having in their post-production. So a lot of stuff got messed up. The Guardians Galaxy special. That's right. They are doing, I can't remember if it's a Christmas special. It's something like that. I have to go back and look at that one. Let's see. So it's on break till August. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I need to figure out because I had I have to go back and see when She-Hulk is released. Let me see. Because I am looking forward to She-Hulk a lot. And I know I want to say She-Hulk is in 2022, but I may be wrong. TV series. Trying to see if it has it. So it's going to be released in 2022. So that's next year. And Hawkeye, I think, will be released. Series. When is that one released? Well, this one's supposed to come out this year, but they haven't set the date. It just says late 2021. So more than likely November-ish. I don't think they're going to compete with the Eternals and with Spider-Man because those are November, December. So maybe September, October. Yeah, Moon Knight's coming out. Yeah, definitely Hawkeye. It would be interesting though if they release Hawkeye like a week before they release either the Eternals or a week before they release the Spider-Man movie. Though, why would you want to compete with yourself? So, I don't know. Miss Marvel's having some controversy. Some people on the Reddit boards are saying that Miss Marvel's actress didn't do a good job or something like that, and Marvel's not happy with her. I don't know. We haven't gotten a trailer yet. I always take that stuff as subjective and word of mouth until I see the proof of being in the pudding. So, it's a thing. What If series, I'm pretty sure comes out late 2021 as well. Let me look at Captain Marvel too, though, because I didn't look at that one, which I'm also excited about because that is going to have Monica Rambeau in it. So I know it's going to be November 11th, 2022. So that's, yeah. Which is interesting because I think the first one was in March of 2019. But yeah, COVID threw a lot of shooting schedules off. And the What If series, that one is going to premiere in August of this year. So we'll get that in August, which would be cool. So yeah, we have we're going to have a lot of MCU stuff to talk about. But like I said, right now, my biggest questions with Loki is, are they really the timekeepers? Are they the time twisters? Because they were the first ones formed and they messed everything up. And so they had to be retconned themselves. And then we got the timekeepers. So I want to know if these are the time twisters. That would be extremely cool. I would love to see that drama, because if they are the time twisters, then they themselves would inadvertently cause a multiverse or nexus break. So I don't know. I think that'll be, I'm actually looking forward to that, to see, exactly how this plays out. Because I don't think everything is as cut and dry as the first episode is saying. These are the timekeepers. They protect the sacred timeline, and everything outside of it is a variant. There's always some inner drama in every organization. So it would be awesome if the timekeepers were actually the time twisters. And I love Loki calling them 3 space lizards. 3 space lizards determining all of mankind, destiny and everything in the timeline. I was like, that's ridiculous. But yeah, you wanted to do it as king of Earth. Oh, it's funny. It is absolutely funny. Let's see. Black Panther 2 hasn't even started filming yet. Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of projects going on. You don't want to have everyone filming at the same time and be absolute chaos, especially if you were like, if Kevin Feige is the only producer, he'd probably be driven insane at that point. The CW shows had so many breaks this season, especially Batwoman and Charm. True, because of COVID and being able to shoot. I know even like, I think Charmed had to take 2 breaks because they had a COVID. Somebody on their film crew had COVID, and then a guest star had COVID. So they had to stop twice, which is why they had breaks, which makes sense because they don't have enough episodes. Yeah, guys, if you can like this video, that would be awesome. Sometimes I don't remember to ask that because I don't think about that. When I'm in review, I'm thinking of things in my brain. So I don't remember to ask these questions. So I'm glad I have people like Cheston who will do it for me. So thank you, lady. Appreciate it, because I won't remember. Let's see. Okay, I think as for Moon Knight, I don't think they actually set the date for Moon Knight because they were still being hush-hush on most of the casting for Moon Knight, but I can see if there's an update because I haven't checked it in a while. Moon Knight television series. It just says released in 2022. I don't know when. I know Oscar Isaac is supposed to be Mark Spector in that. I don't know if that's still true. More than likely it is. But yeah, there's no actual official date for Moon Knight, which is a thing. And let me see if we have one for Fantastic Four. I don't think I'm pretty sure we don't even have one for. Nope, they haven't even set the date for that. So, but more than likely, if we do one, it'll probably be in 2023 or 2024. Who knows? First half of 2022. So that's Moon Knight. I think Fantastic Four will definitely be 2023 because I don't even think they've cast it yet. So I think Loki has 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. They've been doing pretty short episodes. Like, I was surprised at how short Falcon and Winter Soldier was, but they got a lot done. But I was surprised. Let's see here. Yep, 6 episodes. So we've got 5 more for them to fix whatever, But to be fair though, the writing style of the MCU, especially on TV screen, is effective. It does get a lot done in the limited episodes that they give these characters. So having a 6 episode run is kind of like having a mini movie, and things are accomplished within that, in that short amount of time that you wouldn't see in a movie. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it being 6 episodes long. I am. It makes me feel like I don't have to wait for the big bang reveal. I feel like we're going to get something spoiled every episode. So I'm completely okay with that. And Ryan, I'm like you. I prefer more episodes as well. I just think that it's not a problem if they can't, because they're doing a lot of shows and they cost a lot of money. And let's be real. MCU is very CG heavy in some of their properties because they have a lot of characters that require it. So it costs a lot of money to do that. And I don't think Disney is footing the entire bill. So, between Marvel Studios and Disney could afford to do it, but I don't think they are doing it. I kind of feel like they're doing it because of budget, which is what it is. It's probably why we didn't see Monica Rambeau completely go all out with her powers in the WandaVision. So, but I don't think that's going to be the case for the movie. I am excited to see Monica Rambeau in Captain Marvel 2. I think it's going to be absolutely epic. So I am extremely excited for that. I really want them to introduce Blue Marvel though, but they won't. They won't. Because they hate me. I'm like, I prefer more episodes, but shorter. I can see that. And Black Lightning, I think Lala is going to have his own spinoff. Really? Drink my water. So how? I'm curious. They won't give Painkiller a show, but they give Lala a show? Lala's an idiot. I'm like, I don't understand that at all. Is Miss Marvel in Captain Marvel 2? She's supposed to make a cameo in Captain Marvel 2. So, see. We will see. But now I'm tripping over this whole Lala. Where did you hear that? Is that something that was just recently announced? Because I thought they were done with the Black Lightning, universe completely after they turned down, Painkiller, which I really think Painkiller would have done well. I don't know what they were thinking. They're just completely stupid. Yeah, I don't see anything like recently on this. I know that I read the article earlier on Superhero Hype where Loki says that Loki will not be making an appearance in Thor: Love and Thunder. So there's that. But I have not. Yeah, I have not seen anything saying that Lala would get his own show. So I don't know where that came from, but it's just weird that they would do that and not Painkiller. I don't know. I just felt like Painkiller was a better setup show. But whatever. So the rumors about the actor for Miss Marvel. Yeah, they're saying that Marvel's not too happy with her. I don't know a lot about her. They make it seem like she's never been in anything and it's possible. I just don't know because I've not been following the actress. So I guess I'd have to, check it out. But she is a young girl, so they should probably be a little bit, I, as a parent, and even though my daughter is an adult now, I'm very hesitant to talk crap about a child. I just can't do it. So I don't know. She-Hulk has 10 episodes under a 30-minute runtime. That's good. Well, She-Hulk is kind of fun. And like I said, I'm really excited on how they're going to handle that. You want to talk idiots about what about the writers having keeper ship in West Morphers and Thor keep patrol officer? Yeah, we know that Power Rangers has stunning, amazing writing all of the time. Sarcasm. Kat Dennings isn't in Thor: Love and Thunder. Really? Huh. So maybe she was only going to be in one division? That seems like a waste of a character. I never understand what they're doing with her. But I mean, to be fair, she could be in one of the other shows. You never know. You never know. I could see her being in an Ant-Man and Wasp universe. But it's sad. I wish she was in it. But again, if they're following the comics a little bit, then that means Jane already has cancer. So they may be focusing more on that aspect, and then her choosing to be Thor, even at the risk of her own health, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. There's a lot that they can do in Thor: Love and Thunder. I am very curious, honestly, to see. Because the thing about Thor's storyline is that he's not with Sif, and he wasn't with Jane. And honestly, I feel like Thor's entire character has gone through some radical changes that I'm not used to. And for Jane Foster to come back after being MIA because Natalie Portman didn't want to be involved in the project anymore, and then having her come back, it's just really weird. It's a really weird transition for me. But you know what? It is what it is. They should give her and Jimmy Woo their own show. I mean, they should. Jimmy Woo is head of the Atlas Foundation. I mean, then we get to have like Silk and Arrow and Wave and, Hulkling. We get to have a lot of characters that we wouldn't like. I'm curious to see what Amadeus Cho would be like in this universe when we all get them through Jimmy Woo. And then we also get Yellow Claw. So like, why can't we have the Atlas Foundation? I don't get it. But whatever. Like I said, I don't run the MCU. I think Chris Hemsworth won't be as big a role as the previous Thor movies now, because it's going to be more about Jane. I don't like the season finale because I feel like they rushed it, and the fact that writers didn't have Jen supervise her family with her return change. I hated that. If you look at my Black Lightning review, you might have been in there, Jermaine, but I can't remember because I'm old. I did not like the fact that we didn't have a reunion. But again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. The same thing happened yesterday in The Flash. For me, it was very weird. Very, very weird that Cisco and Iris never had a goodbye moment when all of them were OG. Iris was in that show since the pilot, and they even made her team leader with Cisco as her right hand. And there was no goodbye scene between Iris and Cisco whatsoever. I hate when they do this. Even if the character or actors have drama, you are paid to be a character. Your character doesn't have this drama. You as the actor has this drama behind the scenes. The same thing with the OG Charm sisters. Half the time, most of them hated each other, but they still had to be sisters. I don't understand why the CW writes these characters apart. It makes it seem like the actress, like Candace Patton and Carlos for Cisco, do not like each other in real life. And that's why it was just Joe, Caitlin, and Barry with Cisco, and then Iris with Camilla and Allegra. I feel really weird about that, because Iris was very much OG. She was actually in the show from the very first, beginning of that series. The first scene that you ever see is when Iris is coming to get Barry to take him to go see Wells' presentation. So it's stupid. I don't get it. We barely see a scene between Danielle P. and Candace. Well, it's been dramified over years that they don't like each other. It's been a speculation for a long time that they have beef with each other. Somebody even pointed out that they don't even follow each other on Instagram. So, yeah. I thought Barry and Iris were on a happy spell. The whole thing with Barry and Cisco having Rainbow Rider 2.0 make them happy. That whole breakdancing scene was hilarious. Why isn't Loki Lucas Blue Time Force ancestor? I mean, they're both purified villains. No idea, actually. No idea. I can't even answer that question. I am a Power Ranger and Super Sentai and Tokusatsu fan, but I can't answer that question for you. That's a lot of deep lore that I am not in. You're only as old as you feel. Is that my grandma told me at the age of 99? He was born in the 19th century and died in 21st. Wow. I want to be that lucky. I'm almost 45 and I have a few medical conditions that make me feel old. And I think the oldest member on my mother's side that has lived has been 72. And my mother died at 53, I think. So yeah, I want to live that old. I think that'll be awesome. I want to be around to review things and bitch at things more as an old person. Drama between Madeline Mantock and Poppy. They don't follow each other and only had a scene until episode 313. Wait, really? There's drama between Madeline and Poppy? Really? That is really weird. I don't know anything about that. I'm gonna have to look into that. That's very strange. Is that like confirmed? What? What? Is that why Poppy's leaving the show? Because that's wow. I'm gonna have to look into that. I am seeing some posts about stupid character drama. What is up with Charmed? Is Charmed just cursed? I mean, is that a cursed thing? I mean, there's so many people in that damn show that hate each other. I mean, even in the OG show, people hated each other. And actually, mostly everyone hated Alyssa Milano. But, it's like, Lord have mercy. Thank you. Yeah, my mother passed in 2008 from leukemia, as did two of her brothers and one of her sisters. And it's not supposed to be hereditary, so that's interesting. No scene until 313. That's crazy. Hi, Nicholas. I suspect it, but is a rumor. Wait a minute, Poppy is leaving? Saying it, yeah, Poppy's leaving the show. That's what everyone's saying. Like, she even did a goodbye thing on Instagram. Now, I don't know if this is just for now, but you know how it is. She had this big revelation and how, she basically said that she had feelings for Mel, which I've been saying since season 2. People don't listen. And now she's up and out. I'm hoping we're going to see her this Friday because I really like her character. I really like her. And I don't know why she would have drama with Madeline Mantock. Poppy doesn't seem to be like, everybody always praises her when she works in shows and movies. So I don't know. Is it more Madeline? That's interesting. That is interesting. That's if it's even true. This could absolutely be just BS. She's in 314 and 315. Huh. Okay. When is Stargirl coming? Stargirl, actually, let's see. I actually was looking at that the other day and forgot about the release date. Hold on 1 second. August 10th is when we're going to have season 2 for Stargirl. Let's see. Yeah, but overall, back to Loki. I really, really enjoyed this episode. It's a very good start to what I think are going to be amazing 6-episode run. I've already told you what I want to happen. It's probably not going to happen at all. Stop throwing Mephisto at us, please. Please, 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 please stop throwing Mephisto at us and not delivering, because I don't want to see him anymore if you have no plans to use him. I just don't. I'm just telling you this now, into the cosmos. If you're not going to use a character, stop throwing him at us. And also, I want to have something other than Loki being the fighting himself. I don't want to have like a Superman 3. Is it Superman 3 with Richard Pryor? The Superman 3. Yeah. I don't want to have a Superman 3 moment where, Clark is fighting Dark Superman. I don't want to have Loki fighting Dark Loki. I just think that'd be really weird. Not saying that it wouldn't be done tastefully. I don't know. It's been done. And I think it's actually cooler to have, like, I don't know, a precursor into Mephisto and saying, oh, this is Mephisto. He just took on your form. He's not actually you. That would make more sense to me because the little girl pointed to the red devil. She did not point to Loki. Or she did not. Well, I guess Loki wasn't there, but if he wasn't there, she did not insinuate that it was somebody else. She pointed to the red devil on the church window. That is Mephisto. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Correction, since we've been saying since season 2, I feel like Mel has become more stagnant and the rest of the girls are stuck in their ways. Mainly Macy, and Harry is just another Barry. I already know where you're going with this, Nicholas. I already know where you're going with that. And I agree with you. I think the big bad in Loki is the female version of him. I would love to see female version of Loki, but that would also tie in because female Loki raised America Chavez. And America Chavez and Nico from the Runaways were adopted sisters because Loki was also raising her. I would love to see that tie-in. It would be cool to tie it into the Runaways, but I don't even know if they consider the Runaways canon in the MCU. So I don't know. But I'm down for that because America Chavez is being introduced in Doctor Strange too. So it would make sense if female Loki is at the end of this, how that would definitely tie in outside of the Nexus. I think that would be a very good tie-in. The series creator of Loki has confirmed that Mephisto isn't in the show like a day ago, I believe. Then stop putting pictures of Mephisto everywhere. Stop giving us Easter eggs of Mephisto. Stop. Just stop. I think at this point they might do it just to annoy the fans. It's like, we're doing it because we want you to think he's in here. Give you something to ponder. There is definitely less Harry in this season. Yeah. And that's fine with me. They've overdid Harry last season. Let's see. That would be awesome. Is Nico the goth one? Yeah, she's the goth, the witch that uses her mother's staff. Yeah. I really believe that would be a really good tie-in, actually. Because see, when I was watching WandaVision, I was looking at Mephisto because you saw an image of him, underneath the table along with other villains, and you also saw little pieces like having Agatha Harkness, the little boy with the blonde hair on the milk carton. I thought was either Nicholas Swift or Franklin, because again, Agatha was working for the Fantastic Four for Reed and Sue as their son's governess. And I was thinking maybe she's doing this because Mephisto took him, kidnapped him, and she has to do what he says. And Agatha knows about Mephisto because she said, you don't know what you are, who you've unleashed at the end of WandaVision. And so I already feel like that is Mephisto. And even when you see at the end where Wanda is, looking in the dark hole, she's like literally meditating, learning all this stuff. And she hears her son's voices that maybe they are now with Mephisto. And that's a tie-in for that. I think all of this stuff actually plays very nicely into the Mephisto, journey, I guess is a good way of saying that, or the ethos, because I feel like he is involved behind the scenes. Because if you think about him in the comics, he was the one always whispering in people's ear to do bad stuff. He wasn't doing it directly himself. He was getting other people to do bad things. So all of this could be him whispering, and eventually we do see him as the big baddie. I don't know. I think it's really irritating. So it's rumored that Candace and Daniel P don't like each other for a long time. Yes. Agatha said she is more powerful than Doctor Strange. Yeah. I mean, I can believe that. And Wanda definitely is. Because, yes, he has a lot of powers. But he's not a Nexus being. I'm thinking they're just posting pictures of Mephisto so we can have something to look forward to in the Multiverse of Madness. I just need them to stop. Stop giving us these Easter eggs. Just stop. Give us Easter eggs on things we can figure out that are actually going to be relevant. That's what I need you to do. Don't do this other crap. It's bothersome and it gets on my nerves. So that's how I feel about that. All right, we got a few more minutes because we're almost to an hour, and then I have to get ready to go to a doctor appointment because, fun times. This is what real world looks like. Make sure I didn't miss something. Which I could have. I'm wondering how the Fantastic Four is going to play in if they don't introduce them before Secret Invasion, because that would be a waste. That would be a waste. So many times. I don't know. I really wish I was looking at a timeline with them, like just breaking down the timeline with the MCU, like how they see things. What is your outline for this series? Who's going to be in what and why? Because if you watch the DCU and you watch the Arrowverse shows, you know that they change characters all the time. Like they literally, like with Grace Choi, they took her entire comic identity and rewrote it into like this shapeshifter, feline type person. And we all know that that was not anything like Grace in the comics. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something similar with this, their own version. I mean, to be fair, Avengers, Civil War, Endgame, they were all drastically different from the comic versions. So I don't expect it to be the same. But I'm just curious. I'm just curious what Secret Invasion is going to be in the MCU. Because some of the major players aren't even involved, or they're dead. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Okay, a couple of more. Isn't Loki season 2 happening? I hope so. I don't know. Like I haven't. Someone said that WandaVision got a second season, which what would you do with that? Like, I guess we'd have to watch Doctor Strange to see what a WandaVision 2 would look like. Yeah, I don't know what could possibly happen in WandaVision 2. Because I feel like WandaVision 1 had closure. Let's see. Okay, I think we already read that one. Wait, do you think you're going to see Donald Blake, the Thor that Odin made as a replacement, was tossed away like Woody to a different dimension and became the next serpent and threat? Maybe. But we're not going to see him anytime soon. We're not going to see Walt because of Love and Thunder. I don't know. I mean, in the future, when they establish Young Avengers, we're probably going to get a lot of people that we haven't normally seen. I'm still rooting for Pathfinder, honestly. Will anyone explain reuse Disney monster suits in Dino Charge and Ninja Storm? Maybe the Bathroom is a faulty Skull Gator. It's called not having a budget and being cheap. Loki was filmed post-COVID, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think they did it post-COVID. WandaVision is only one season. Yeah, on one of the Reddit boards, they were talking about the fact that they're going to renew it. And I can't see in my mind where they would go. Like, there's nowhere to go in WandaVision now. It's weird. I mean, she's going to freak out and go to another town and make another town, another version of her family. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Do you think we're going to go Macaulay and his journey to become the god of stories? Because so I'm hoping we can see my girl on more, the Enchantress and other magic users. The Enchantress would be really cool to bring into the MCU. I don't know. Well, there is White Vision. Well, then they should do a White Vision show, not WandaVision. It should be White Vision because he went off to find himself. So it's a thing. It is a thing. All right, guys, we're over an hour. If you have any other questions, I know it's early in the Loki process to do theories, but you can do a theory. What do you think is going to happen in the next 5 episodes? How do you think it's going to tie into Doctor Strange? I think if Loki turns out to be a woman, that is a very good tie-in because, again, being that America Chavez is in Doctor Strange too, and technically female Loki is her adopted mother, then I definitely would see that. And the adopted mother was a bitch. So I could see that playing out very well in that movie. And also we get to see the Utopian parallel, which right now is kind of being retconned in America Chavez's solo comic. But that's a whole other conversation. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. It will be very, very interesting to see where they go with that. But I want to know your theories. So leave them in the comments, please, below. I am going to be reviewing Kung Fu, but it will probably be on Thursday, potentially around the same time. And we definitely will have our charm stream on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. And then I have a video coming out as well. So be on the lookout for that. But you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. You guys have been awesome, very responsive, had a great conversation. And I want you to keep it up in the comments below. And until next time, guys, you have a very, very good day. Or if it's evening for you, have a very good evening.